Brought to you by SAP. SAP helps companies run like never before. Learn more by visiting us online.
Now, Frans, a very warm welcome to Take It Work.
Good day.
Now, businesses in South Africa and across the continent have a twofold challenge when it comes to energy. If they want to conduct business, they need a consistent power supply, but they also have to be cognizant of environmental policies and constraints. Can solar power and how can solar power address both these issues?
Yes, it is clear that solar energy will become a major energy source. 25% of the total global energy demand or supply will be solar. It's about $3.2 trillion then. So that's quite a big volume.
It's a big volume, Frans, but the continent has an abundance of sun. I mean, we're blessed with it, but you know, our European counterparts are far more ahead of us with utilizing with solar power. You know, a country like South Africa is very coal dependent. It's a cheap source of energy. How can we make solar power and photovoltaic and rooftop installations more cost effective? Because that seems to be the barrier to entry at the moment.
The point is that a lot of power plants are up in the north. You need a strong grid, so you need to invest in billions of US dollars or rand here to make that work, to have energy in the south of South Africa. But if you invest in solar, you can do local distributed energy sources. So, but you need to adapt the grid and to make it work properly. So production and consumption are very close towards each other.
But how do you make it more viable in the sense, because people think that, you know, solar power is sometimes an airy-fairy concept because it's not as utilized on the continent and even in South Africa as it is in Europe. So how do you get investors to buy into the concept to make it more viable for our local market?
I think it's one of the safest harbors to invest in today because it's very predictable, the amount of sun.
So low risk.
Solar is very low risk and it's the way to go forward. So it's about shaping the structure, shaping the opportunity in the right way. We need to have right power purchase agreements in place. So the off-takers we have to look at in a proper way, and an infrastructure investor can play the role as an independent power producer, which is very attractive, and we see a lot of opportunities here in South Africa today.
But there's a lot of constraints. I mean, Eskom has been talking a while about bringing IPPs into the fold, bringing them into the grid, but it's been delayed so much that, you know, you might think this concept will never come to fruition. You know, with you being South Africa right now, with your partnership with creating Solarcentury Africa, what's the buzz on the ground? Is this going to eventually come to fruition and make sense for South Africa's energy grid? Yes,
I think there's a lot of sun here. And like I said, the grid is weak. We need to invest either, or we need to invest in new energy sources. New energy sources is the way to go forward. Yeah. Solar is the dominant one for sure. And if you look at the opportunity, there's so much roof available here in South Africa where we can install solar. It doesn't take any land, if you like. And there is a lot of opportunities to put the money there. And it's just about setting the framework right, and it starts to move. We've seen that in Europe as well. In the beginning, it takes a while to get adapted to it. So all the stakeholders need to get used about how things might work in the future. In time also here we need to think about demand-side management, to manage the grid or the supply and demand in a proper way. It's not only coal, it's not only wind, it's not only solar, it's the blend, and that makes it work. And as there is peak load, peak demand. That is at the moment that the sun is shining in most of cases. So that is an easy way to make that work.
Now let's talk about your foray into Africa, your partnership with your local partner. It's Momentum, if I'm not mistaken. And it's Solarcentury Africa. What do you hope to accomplish here in South Africa and eventually on the rest of the continent?
Momentum is a developer or a project. So they have developed one of the first project for ground mount here in South Africa. We have been working with them in the UK already, so we know them quite well, and that's a good combination because we have a lot of know-how that we take from London. We are established in 1998. We're one of the pioneers in solar, one of the dominant players. We develop sites, we build sites, we do operation and maintenance, and we structure the deals in a proper way to make it work in the end. But we need local content, we need local people, We need to understand the specifics of the country, how to shape the deal, and how to make it work technically, economically, and legally, because it's all tailored work, and that's the opportunity going forward.
Thank you very much.